Hello, my name is Dan. This is Sports and Songs special podcast this week. Today is January 28th. I'm joined with Carrie, lead singer and founder of Heartless. Heartless is a cover band that plays heart music. Today I'll be interviewing her. They got an upcoming show coming up at the Medina Entertainment Center at the end of February. Welcome to the show, Carrie.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to this. Our podcast is based on sports topics and music topics, and Andy and I both cover sports and music, and a lot of music stuff is 70s, 80s, hard rock, and old school hair metal bands and such. Now, Heart happens to be a favorite of both of us, and we've done them and had a review several times on our show in the past, but we've never had a Heart. In fact, I've never seen a Heart cover band before. Carrie, tell me how many of them are out there, especially in the Twin Cities like this, or even in the Midwest, that do what you do.
Yeah, actually, because we are a Heart tribute, we've found out about a few other Heart tributes. I don't think there are any in the Twin Cities area, but I know there is another band called Heartless, in fact, in Chicago, around that area, and that do pretty well. And then I think, I'm not sure of all their names, but there's one in the Dallas area that's really good. I mean, I've just seen video of them. There's also a female duo, I think, out in California, that do sort of an Ann and Nancy thing. And I know that because one of the places we played, they actually had their information up on their website instead of ours. So we've actually found out about quite a few, but I think we're the only one in this area.
Oh, interesting. It's I've only seen Heart one time in concert myself, and looking forward to the show. I'll bring up here for the viewers the upcoming show. It looks like it's Friday, February 26th, 7 p.m. Doors open at 6, and your band Heartless will be opening up for the main show called Arena, and that is also a cover band that plays all sorts of rock music from the past. They have a female vocalist, and it looks like the rest of the band is made up of men. Has your group played with these guys before, Arena?
No, we've never played a show with them, although I think a few members in our band actually know some of the people in Arena. I haven't met them yet, but I have seen some video of them, and I think it's a really good, pairing. They kind of have the same, sort of high energy, same sort of genre of music, so I'm looking forward to actually seeing them play.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing them as well. The other reason that Andy and I are looking forward to going to the show is due to the COVID pandemic. A lot of these concerts were shut down. A lot of bands are doing virtual shows. That's not really what I consider fun. And they're doing these social distancing and things like this now. Now with some more of the relaxed rules and regulations about this, the Medina, for instance, has bands coming on. You'll be able to sit at tables and chairs and watch the show. There will be no standing room crowd, and there'll be limitation with distancing and whatnot. But even that, I'm excited to come and see the show, just to be able to get out because of this long layoff. How has it been for you and the band, not being able to perform and having some of these dates pushed out and canceled?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been strange. I think, I was trying to think the last time we played. I can't even remember the last gig we played, but it's definitely been weird. I mean, I play in a couple other bands too, so, I was used to playing at least once every weekend, and so for that to just stop, it's definitely been unusual. And needless to say, we're looking forward to being able to play together again in a live setting. It'll be different, certainly. Things aren't quite back to normal, but I think when you go without it for so long, even if it's a little bit different, it's still going to be a lot of fun. And we'll hopefully kind of give people what they've been missing for a while.
Yeah, it'll be fun to have an atmosphere like that. And the Medina is a great location. I'm looking forward to that show. That always seems to be a good performance. Last time I was there actually to see a show was Ted Nugent several years ago when he was performing. So that's pretty good. Looking forward to getting out here. The concert once again is February 26th. Coming up, and that's a Friday night. That should be good. Now, for the listeners that aren't too familiar, Heart, I'll bring up some images here of the band, is mainly known as the duo of Ann and Nancy Wilson. They also had guitarists, bassists, and drummers, but their names have always been in the background. I'm showing here now the images of some of the 1970s classic photos of Ann and Nancy Wilson. Now, they've later been inducted into the Hall of Fame, and Ann Wilson has one of the best voices and vocals probably on the planet. Now, because they're in the Hall of Fame, what is it like for you being the vocalist, singing the Ann Wilson vocals? What is the pressure like? Kind of following up the footsteps of someone in the Hall of Fame and someone with musical talent, as far as Ann Wilson, one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult, to say the least. Which is sort of, one of the reasons why I wanted to put this band together, because I knew it was going to be a challenge. Not just singing, but musically, a lot of these parts, especially in the '70s stuff, is very hard to play. I mean, the drummer Michael DeRozier is very accomplished, kind of, sort of a Bonham-esque sort of feel. And Roger Fisher's guitar work is very sort of unique and innovative. But in terms of the singing, yeah, it's definitely difficult. Although at this point, I've been doing it for so long, my voice is sort of trained to sing, that material and to kind of sing the way that she does. Although I have to admit, it's at every show, I'm never 100% positive I'm going to hit all the notes. Generally, I do, but it's that challenging where even though I've done it for years, it's still a challenge. And of course, for her to do it is, when you watch her sing, it just looks effortless. So it's a lot harder for me.
Exactly. Looking forward to the show. Now, Heart has a long history of doing rock songs, and then some softer songs, and then some acoustic, and some love ballads over their essentially the 40 years of being around. Your band, called Heartless, is a tribute. What mainly of the style or the genre do you guys focus on?
We generally try and do the more kind of rock centric songs. I mean, we do a handful of the acoustic ones, but really, we try and focus on really their more upbeat sort of heavier stuff. And that's just because, I kind of think, I mean, they have so much material that you sort of do have to make a decision, in terms of like what you're going to showcase, because to try and do it all, I think it could end up being sort of, choppy because it's so diverse. And so we definitely focus more on heavier, kind of electric guitar centric stuff.
More of the rock, the commercial rock success songs. Do you ever play any of the deeper tracks or the deep cuts?
Yeah, and actually, I mean, for us, because obviously we all know their hits really well, and being in this project, I've actually got to learn a lot of songs that I wasn't aware of before I started the band. So we do Mistral Wind, which is sort of this epic, sort of their Stairway to Heaven, I like to say, which is a deeper track that I think a lot of people might not know. And we do Dream of the Archer, which is an more acoustic-y one that's fun to do.
Oh, interesting.
Generally, especially when you're playing sort of shorter sets, they have so many hits that, you don't have a lot of room to add those deep tracks in there because, you got to play these hits that everyone knows and wants to hear.
Now, Carrie, speaking of the set, how long, what's basically the duration of you guys opening up for this other band? What is your time limitation typically?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe that it's an hour. It might be a little over an hour. I have to double check that. So yeah, I think we're doing 60 to 75 minutes.
Oh, wow, that's interesting because you had just mentioned the Heart. There's so many classics, so many songs, and by the time you do the math and break that down into 60 to 75 minutes, there's not a lot of room to play with for extra music. By the time you play the hits, that time goes fairly quick. So, oh, interesting.
Yeah, we do. So I mean, in most of the shows we do tend to be shorter sets, but we do play pretty consistently. For instance, at Ziggy's, where we play the whole night, so it's actually 3 hours of Heart music, and that's where we really can sort of have some fun throwing in more of the obscure ones. And we do have some of those shows booked this year, which will hopefully happen. So if you're a real Heart fan, those are the shows I'd suggest going to, because you get to hear some gems you won't really get to hear at some of these bigger shows.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that those 3 hour shows would be a blast to listen to. Like I just know the other day I was listening to a deep track, like you mentioned, "Dream of the Archer," one of my favorite songs, and you probably wouldn't come out in an opening act in a 1 hour setting like this, but in something like much longer, you can really get into some of these other interesting songs. I'm a fan of the 70s and 80s, of course, of the Heart music back then, and that's what I more look forward to. But interesting. Now, do you like playing in front of the larger crowds, or small intimate settings, the bars, types of things? What does Heartless kind of try to focus on?
I mean, we enjoy it all because I think we just like kind of playing music together. So that's the most important thing. And when it comes to it really depends. I mean, I like playing smaller venues. It's more intimate, and I also like doing bigger shows. I think some of our favorite shows are anytime we can play outside in the summer, and those tend to be bigger, kind of bigger venues. But I mean, it's all fun at the end of the day.
That's awesome. I think you played up north in 2019 up by the Brainerd Lakes area?
Oh, we actually did that last year. That was one of the few shows
okay.
that, they were able to have, it was a big outdoor campground, so I know they had to jump through a lot of hoops to make it happen with the regulations, but yeah, it was one of the few shows we did last year. Green Lantern Festival.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, those outdoor festivals would be excellent. Now, getting back to the band, can you list off the roster of who's all in the band and what their names are, and what do they play?
Sure. So I sing and play guitar, rhythm guitar, and then we have Lenny DiMancari. He's actually quite new, our lead guitar player, but he played in Heart Tribute Bad Animals for 14 years, I think. They were around in the 90s and early 2000s, I believe. And then on bass, we have Greg Norden. On drums, we have Jim Bartell. And then we have our Nancy, we call her because her name's Nancy, so she sort of legitimizes us. Nancy Masson, who plays keys, guitar, percussion, and then, of course, does all of those, really integral high harmony parts.
Excellent. Sounds like a good group. And so obviously you have an interest in the band Heart to begin with, and then also taking it, that a whole step further to actually get a band going and playing the cover songs. How did you personally get into the band, and where did you get your interest from that really brought you to follow that group?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I always grew up listening. I've just always listened to older music. And so, my parents have good taste in music, and I can't quite, remember exactly how I came to listen to Heart, but I do remember my parents had the Dreamboat Annie, record album, and it kind of stood out to me, and I remember listening to that, a lot, and then I think just hearing some of those hits like Crazy on You on the radio, when I started to learn to play guitar, the intro to that was so cool to me, so I had to figure out how to play it. And then, of course, when I when I joined this band, I realized I wasn't playing it right at all when I was a kid, and I had to sort of relearn it. But I don't know. I just think Heart had that certain something. It just sounded so authentic and such raw talent that it really stood out to me as a kid, and I suppose as a female too. It was cool being able to see a female guitarist just play guitar, as vigorously and as technically proficient as all the male guitarists that I was used to seeing.
Yeah, when I saw the band live, actually it was an outdoor festival at Mystic Lake when they played the concert out there is when I saw it. Talk about the chills going down your spine when Nancy Wilson plays the riff to Barracuda live, and you're watching her do that right 4 rows in front of you. It's unbelievable to see that. Now, as a fan, I've also read the book called Kicking and Dreaming, the story of heart, soul, and rock and roll, the Ann and Nancy Wilson story. And I'm not sure if you've read this one, Carrie. I'm holding it up here now.
I haven't yet.
I'm holding it up here for the viewers. Very good book. It's a biography about the band, basically those two, the sisters, how they got into music, how their family, with moving around and things, ended up in the Pacific Northwest, Vancouver, Seattle area, and then how they got the band together, and there's stories over the decades. And Kicking and Dreaming and is the name of the book. So highly recommend it for the other listeners out there who are into the actual Heart band. It's a very good book. I do recommend getting your hands on that to read. But so the show is coming up, and now with the winter, the COVID, it's more relaxed setting. I think more of these shows and venues are now opening up. You're obviously looking forward to this and getting back out into the thick of things. How does your concert, list look like coming down? Are you able to be booking more shows here in the future and into the spring and summer of 2021?
I mean, it's still pretty slow. We have a few outdoor festival type gigs that got pretty much just postponed from last year. So one of those has been confirmed. I'm still sort of waiting to hear on the other ones, but I assume they'll happen and that we'll still be playing them. Other than that, we do have, like I mentioned, some dates at Ziggy's in both Stillwater and Hudson. But yeah, it's still pretty slow. I think venues are still sort of feeling it out, and but I'm hoping, especially in the summer months, that there'll be some more things that come along, some kind of outdoor opportunities.
Excellent. Now, how could the listeners get tickets for the show coming up at the Medina?
I think you can go directly to the Medina's website. Also, we have a Facebook fan page that has the event listed there with links to where you can buy the tickets.
Very good. I can see too on the site when I got mine, they've got them selling them as gold section, silver section, and I think just general section, because they're going to be you're being able to be sitting at tables and chairs to watch the show, and the ones in the front center are gold. On the outer side are the silver, and then after that is the general admission. So you can have a lot of room to be able to elbow room, I guess, sitting there without being crammed in into a setting like that. I'm showing the location here up on the screen right now. It's Medina Entertainment Center, 500 Highway 55, Medina, Minnesota. And once again, doors open at 6. Your show starts at 7, and your band is Heartless, a tribute to Heart. And following that is the main act, Arena, which would be good for the listeners. If you're looking for some rock and roll music for the night, this would be an excellent place to go to. What I'll do then, Carrie, is put in the description section of this video, I'll put the ticket location, how to get your tickets. I'm sure this will be possibly even a sold-out event. I'm not sure what the limitations. When I got my tickets, it was there was not many left. So if you're interested, we'll be able to click on the link, get your tickets, and then come and see Carrie Deans, lead singer, the vocalist, rhythm guitarist, and founder of Heartless. Any final words in wrapping up here, Carrie, that you'd like to mention to your listeners out there?
I guess I just want to say, we're looking forward to the show. Look forward to seeing all your smiling faces out there again. And it should be a lot of fun. And, it's a great chance to see, two bands and just sort of rock out a little, forget about the troubles of the world. And we hope to see you all there.
Awesome. Once again, this is a Sports and Songs special bonus podcast. My name is Dan. Joining me here today was Carrie Deans, lead singer. Thanks again for your time.